nothing. She was so boring. Her and her husband, boring as hell. They gave nothing. So if you're not going to talk about something, show us something, be about something, we don't need you back. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be the season finale review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 3, Episode 19, Lo and Be-Holt. So let's start off with Melody and Tiffany. Tiffany came to Melody's office because Tiffany's going to be starting her interviews for her intern. Her business is growing. She needs the extra help. And I think Tiffany manages some type of a HR company or owns a HR company, something along those lines. So I guess Tiffany is going to be offering some of the candidates to interview for Melody, whatever. So they're talking about Tisha, and Tiffany talks about how Tisha at Destiny's event, Tisha had pulled her to the side and was basically like, girl, what's tea? You know, give me the dirt on your life. And Melody was like so shocked that Tisha would ask her such a thing. And initially I was as well. But now that we are at the end of this season and I see that Tiffany has offered absolutely nothing to this season and to this show, I can see why now. I can definitely see why Tisha would ask her that, because I think in actuality, Tisha was doing her a big favor by asking her about the dirt about her life, because Tisha was just trying to help Tiffany secure the bag and come back for another season to have her contract renewed, because Tiffany gave absolutely nothing. She gave nothing. She was so boring. Her and her husband, boring as hell. They gave nothing. So if you're not going to talk about something, show us something, be about something, we don't need you back, Tiffany. We don't need you back. So Tisha was actually doing her a favor and throwing her a Hail Mary, like, you know, give me something. We got to work. We got to work with something. Give us something to work with that's going to make you interesting enough to have these people renew your contract. Because right now, Tiffany, you're dry. You're dry as hell. Moving on. So let's go to the day of the premiere party. Okay, everybody shows up. It's an all-white event. Everybody shows up in white. And I must say, this is the first time that Tiffany looked glamorous. She looked like she could actually hold up with the other women on this show as far as fashion, as far as wardrobe. Her outfit was beautiful. Her hair was beautiful. Her makeup was great. She looked absolutely beautiful. She did not look like, you know, the women's section of a Montgomery Ward catalog. She looked glamorous. She had it going on. I liked everything about her from head to toe. Someone else who I thought really brought it was Tisha. I thought Tisha looked so pretty. Her hair, her makeup, her cute little white dress against that beautiful chocolate skin. Tisha looked amazing. I thought she looked so wonderful. Okay, so where do we start with this premiere party? So they're all gathered, you know, the Huntsville crowd, they're all gathered talking, and somebody brought up Martell or whether or not he was going to show up. And then Tiffany said, well, I would have thought that Melody would have invited Martell. Why? Why, Tiffany? Why would you think Melody would invite her arch nemesis, the person who's trying to take her kids away from her, the person who is slandering her all over the internet? Why would she invite Martell to her video premiere party, Tiffany? Answer me that. Yeah, that's what I thought. And especially since Tiffany herself is always the one talking about how Melody and Martell, they always bring down the mood with their arguing. They ruin all these events with their bickering and their fighting. Why would you expect Melody to invite Martell? You're an idiot, Tiffany. Okay, moving on. Destiny, her confession. Okay, yeah, so Destiny, you know, agreed with me that, yeah, why is Tiffany asking about Martell when she's the one that's always talking about, you know, Martell and Melody ruining every single event that they show up to together. Okay, so the group was standing around. It was the Huntsville crew, including Miss Wanda. They were all standing around talking, you know, jaw-jacking. And somebody was joking about, so they were joking about or poking fun at Miss Wanda because Miss Wanda has had a husband and a boyfriend at the same time. So everybody was making fun about that. It was just all, you know, joking, light jabbing. Everyone was having a good time. Here comes Kimmy. So she says, how come the conversation always has to lead to side pieces and who's cheating on who and affairs and what did she say exactly? She says, why does the conversation always have to go to side pieces, extra husbands, extra wives? And it's like, okay, they told Kimmy, what the hell are you talking about? We're not talking about side pieces. We're talking about what it takes to keep your husband happy, your mate happy, or whatever, because Destiny is going through a divorce. And she jokingly asked Miss Wanda, what should I do, to try to get a man the next time around? And Miss Wanda gave her little Miss Wanda advice. And that's when Miss Wanda brought up how she's got a boyfriend and a husband, this, and that. And then it wasn't even about side pieces. It was just about, what to do to keep your mate happy. And so then Kimmy's like, well, I wish that Patricia was here. I wish that Patricia was here, because she said Patricia was supposed to come. Now, Patricia was the lady that she was talking to in the previous episode who was like, your own sister-in-law, Tisha, doesn't have your back when people are slandering you all over social media about you being Maurice's side piece. So Kimmy was like, well, I wish Patricia was here because she would have been the one. Oh, yeah, she goes, I wish Patricia was here. And then she looks at the crowd and she's like, y'all know who Patricia is, right? And then Tisha was like, yes, we know who Patricia is. And then Kimmy and Maurice were like, okay, Kimmy, what's up with all the roll necking? So then Kimmy explains that the reason why she has an issue with Patricia is because Patricia was married to another Holt brother. And she ended up breaking that man's heart. She ended up, I guess, filing for divorce, leaving him, broke his heart, whatever. Who knows what the details are. And so that's why Kimmy really doesn't see it for Patricia. So once again, Kimmy brings up how, when she met Maurice and when Maurice and Kaya were officially divorced and when her and Maurice started dating, and if Patricia was there, she'd be able to confirm the dates. And then Tisha said, oh, okay, so Patricia would be the one to confirm whether or not you were sleeping with a married man. And Kimmy, she's so caught up in herself. She's just like, yeah, exactly, right. Okay, so Miss Wanda was like, so were you sleeping with him when he was married to Kiowa? And Kimmy says, absolutely not. Okay, Kimmy, you said this a gazillion times that you did not know Maurice. You were not sleeping with Maurice. You were not dating Maurice. You weren't having a relationship with Maurice when he was married to Kyle. How many times are you going to have to constantly prove yourself? And in this particular situation, in this particular scene, nobody was even talking about Kimmy or Maurice or Kiowa. She's the one that brought it up out of completely nowhere. Why do you feel the need to always defend yourself on it doesn't matter anymore, Kimmy. You got the prize, okay? You married Maurice. You married Maurice. What does it matter now if you knew him, if you were with him when he was who cares? That is old. That is yesterday's news. Nobody cares. On the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, what's that girl's name? Whitney. Whitney talks about how her and her husband met when her husband was still married to his wife and that they were having this full-blown affair. And then they got married. And she's like, yeah, I met him when he was married. We're having an affair. Now we're married and we got kids and a family of our own. Nobody even talks about that. Kimmy, the more you bring this up, the more you try to deny that you were Maurice's side piece. And I don't know if you were or if you weren't. And I don't really care. It doesn't really matter anymore. But the more you bring this up, the more the internet is going to drag you and try to make it something that it probably isn't. And then this is just going to add fuel to Kiowa and her camp and constantly hinting at or alleging or just coming out and saying that you were sleeping with Maurice when Maurice was still married to her. And maybe they were separated, but Kiowa's going to spin it to make it seem like he was a happily married man and you took this man away from his family. I don't know, Kimmy, but next season, if you're back, if the show is back, I beg you, Kimmy, please do not bring this up again. And if you're so concerned about it, Kimmy, why don't you just ask Kiowa, show the receipts? If you're saying that I took your husband or I was with your husband when he was still with you, prove it. And that probably is going to shut her up. Or maybe you're afraid that she does have the evidence. Okay, so that was that. So they're going on, and then Maurice tells Kimmy to calm the hell down. Because she's like getting really pumped and hyped and agitated. And Maurice is like, calm down. Calm down. Why are you so stressed about this? And in her confessional, once again, Kimmy has to give us another timeline of when she met Maurice and when this happened, when that happened, who he was with and who he wasn't with. And then she's like, oh, and for the record, I did not get with Maurice because he was still sowing his wild oats. Who asked? Who cares? Okay. Miss Wanda and Miss Vanessa. Okay, so Miss Wanda pulls Miss Vanessa to the side and wants to have a conversation with her. And Miss Vanessa is like, is this going to be productive or just going to be about some mess? And Miss Wanda's like, oh no, I just want to have a conversation with you. So they go off to the side, the two mamas, and it's all about Miss Wanda wasn't even trying to apologize about anything, but it was really just like Miss Wanda trying to say that, she's going to say whatever she wants to say. She's got the freedom of speech to do that. And Miss Vanessa was like, look, for me and you to actually, move on and be somewhat decent with each other, we just need to have an agreement that we're not going to talk about our children's personal lives and we're not going to talk about our children's marriages. We're just not going to do that. And Miss Wanda was like, well, if I see something on the internet, I'm going to speak on it. You know who I am and you know how I am and this is how it is. And Miss Vanessa was like, okay, well, that's where me and you are completely different. That's where we have completely different parenting styles, because if I see something, and I do see things on the internet about Marcel, but I choose not to speak on it. There's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of allegations going on about Marcel being with all these women, possibly having a child outside of his marriage, but I'm not going to speak on it. So we just need to agree to move on. And Miss Wanda was like, well, if I see that, I'm going to address it. I don't have a problem addressing that with Marcel and Tisha. Okay, that's your people. You address that with your people, but don't come to me about my daughter and her issues. It's disrespectful. It's inappropriate. So it didn't end well because Miss Wanda basically walked away, was like, I'm gonna keep on saying what I want to say and nobody can tell me what to say, blah 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 blah. And then they part ways. And in her confessional, Miss Wanda was like, she needs to know, she better go on and carry whatever she says. She was like, well, she needs to know when she comes to me, she needs to come correct. Okay, but she didn't come to you, Miss Wanda. You came to her. You pulled her to the side to have this useless conversation with her. And I thought Miss Vanessa was 100% right when she said, let's not talk about our children's lives. That is their personal stuff. This stuff is really sensitive. And plus, there's minor children involved. So let's just not go there. And for Miss Wanda to be like, I'm going to say what I want to say, and if it's on the internet, I'm going to... That's so childish and so immature and just like pathetic. Miss Wanda, go sit down. So then all the women are together and they're having a conversation and they're talking about the transparency of Tiffany. So Tiffany, okay, when they talk about Tiffany not being transparent enough, I'm interpreting that as she just wasn't interesting enough, and she just didn't show any type of vulnerability on this show like the way the other women did about their marriages and whatever issues that they were going through in their personal lives. Tiffany gave us absolutely nothing. So Tisha was like, if I ask you, she said something about, she talked about how, the whole issue of Tiffany's child not being Lewis's child, not being her ex-husband's child. She goes, we would not know to ask whether or not your child, your son, was the son of your ex-husband. We would not know that to ask. And I don't know if Tisha was trying to say that she should have brought it up on her own to clarify things or what. And then Tiffany comes in with, well, that's just like me asking about Kimmy and whether or not Jalen is the son of Maurice. And then Kimmy is like, what the hell do I have to do with this conversation? I have nothing to do with this conversation. And so, like I said before, she does need to be more transparent. She does need to be more vulnerable. She has to be more interesting if she's going to come back. Because if she's going to be anything like she was this season, we don't need it. We don't want it. Cut her off. Do not renew her contract. We don't need it because she was boring. She brought nothing. And then her holier than thou attitude that her and her husband had, like they had the most perfect marriage and they were here to enlighten others on marriage, missed me with that. So Tiffany was like that. Tiffany said in her confessional that Tisha was just being really messy because the timing of this conversation was just off. And this was about Melody and celebrating her video premiere. And for Tisha to bring this up, it was just, really messy, according to Tiffany. But it had to be said. Okay, Mel makes her grand entrance. And she shows up with, first of all, before she made her grand entrance, she's in the room, she's in the bedroom with her mother and her assistant. And, Melody's acting kind of off. And so her mom is like, can I get you anything? Are you okay? And then the assistant comes in and sees that Mel's whole attitude is completely off. Like, what is wrong with her? She's like really bitchy, basically. And I don't need nothing. I'm just ready to go. I want this to get started. I'm just ready to go. And so Melody said that she doesn't like it when things start late, I think there was an issue with the dog showing up on time because she was supposed to make this grand entrance with the dog because there's a dog in the video. She's walking this, huge dog. I think was it a Doberman Pinscher or a Rottweiler? It was some type of a huge dog that she's walking in the video, and I think it's like a very dramatic scene because she's dressed all in black. She's got this long black wig, and she's walking this huge black dog. So she was just antsy, or she was just upset about the whatever not starting on time. So she makes her grand entrance, and she walks out with a little black puppy. I was like, what the hell is this? I was expecting her to walk out with some huge dog, some huge black dog like the one in her video. But, honey, she shows up with this little timid, scary little black puppy. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And the poor puppy didn't even want to walk. The poor thing was so scared, didn't even want to walk. She had to like almost yank the dog to follow her. It was just crazy to me. And it was so unnecessary. We could have done without that. Or yeah, we could have done without the puppy. You should have gotten the really big black dog and made your entrance. But maybe there was like liability issues if that dog lost control and bit somebody. Okay, so she makes her grand entrance. She looks beautiful. The song is definitely about Martell. I don't know why Melody is faking the funk by saying it's got nothing to do with Martell. It's just about her own experience. No, the song has everything to do with Martell. And that's okay because creativity should come from reality so it can be more relatable. So it's okay that if it's about Martell, just be honest about it, Mel. Don't nobody really care about Martell feeling hurt or whatever. Destiny and Mel. Okay, so after they do the whole video premiere and everybody watches the video, it seems like everybody loved the video. She got a really good response. People were actually singing along with the song. It was a wonderful the audience was very receptive. So after all of that is over, for whatever crazy, stupid reason, Destiny pulls Mel to the side and she's like, can I talk to you? And so she starts off by saying, I just wanted to say congratulations and I'm so proud of you and you're doing the damn thing. And, this is just the beginning for you and, you're going to accomplish so much. She's very complimentary in the beginning. And then it turns to some weird conversation about her village. So Destiny says, I've been, when I went through my divorce, I didn't have my mom with me. I didn't have anybody here with me. And I don't have the kind of support system that you have because you have your mom, you have your family, you have Martell, and you have Martell's family. And then Melody was like, hold up. Yes, I have my mom and my brother for sure. But other dynamics changed after the divorce. And so I have to rely on other people to be my village. And so Destiny was like, well, that's what I'm talking about, because I don't have that. And I just don't like it. Like whenever I tell you that I don't have the support system that I need, you just kind of dismiss it. And you're like, girl, you need to work on that. You're just so dismissive about it. You don't really help. You just kind of dismiss it like, well, you need to work on that. And so Melody was like, well, honey, if you need me for anything, just, let me know. And then the conversation took a really weird turn where she was like, well, Destiny says to Melody, well, if you ever need me, like if you need someone to watch the kids, don't rely on strangers. You can call me. And I'm thinking, Destiny, are you and Martell in cahoots about who Melody leaves these kids with? Did Martell come to you and like tell you to come tell Melody that, what? What are you talking about? So she's like, well, if you need someone to watch your kids, don't rely on strangers. You can always call on me. And in her confessional, Melody was like, why would I call on Destiny? She has a full plate. She has a lot going on with her own issues, her own life. I would not dump my 4 children on Destiny if I have someone else who could watch my kids. I would not do that to her. And so then Melody and Destiny, they start going back and forth because Melody was like, okay, I don't understand where this is coming from, but this is really not the time or place for this. Melody did not understand, and no one, I didn't get it either. Like, what, why are you bringing this up now? And so they start bickering, they start going back and forth. And, oh yeah, this is where it fell apart. So Melody was like, I would never need you to watch my kids. Okay, because low key, my kids don't really see it for you. They call you boring Destiny. And yeah, my kids don't, no, they're good. And so Destiny was like, well, I know your kids like me because Martell Jr. likes me and Mariah likes me. And she tells Melody, if your kids are calling me boring, you need to check your kids because children should not be talking about another adult like that. And then Melody was like, excuse me, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you don't need to tell me how I need to parent my children and what I should and should not tell my children. And then Destiny was like, I'm not telling you how to parent your children, but you need to check your children if they're saying something disrespectful about another adult. And so that's when Melody was done. She was like, okay, I don't know what the hell you're talking about or what this is all about, but I'm going back to my party. I'm going back to enjoy my guest. And yeah, I'm out. So she's walking away. And they're like literally like yelling at each other. And everybody's like looking around like, what the hell's going on? This whole conversation, Destiny, you look like a damn fool. You're pulling this woman away from her party, from her event that she spent tens of thousands of dollars on. And to talk about some nonsense about how you don't have the support system that you need and you want Melody to be more present for you. And then you talk about how she don't need to be leaving her kids with strangers and she needs to dump her 4 kids on you. And her kids call you boring. And that's what really hurt your feelings. And that's what got you all out of pocket because her kids think that you're like, Destiny, this was so unnecessary. This was not a good look for you at all. And I don't blame Melody for walking away and telling you don't need to be telling me what I need to be telling my kids. I'm doing you a favor. If you have no idea, girl, I'm doing you a favor. That was so stupid. So then Martell comes. He crashes the party. He shows up. And he shows up at the moment where Melody is taking pictures with different people. You know, she's having this photo op with all her different guests. And so Martell is trying to elbow his way through to get to Melody. And when he finally gets her attention, he's like, can I talk to you for a minute? I was surprised that Melody would give Martell the time of day, especially at her event. So she does. She decides to give him a few minutes of her time and they go off to talk somewhere in private, and he tells her, congratulations, I'm really proud of you. It sounds kind of sort of genuine. Who really knows with Martell? And the whole time I was watching them talk, I was like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't go south. Oh my God, I hope this doesn't go south. Because you never know with these two people. One person will say one thing that triggers the other, and it's all over. But it was a good conversation. They did not fight. They did not argue. He congratulated her. She accepted it. She said she appreciated it. And then she held out her hand for him to shake. And he had this look on her face like, what are you doing? We're supposed to you're not going to give me a hug? That's what it looked like to me. Maybe I was reading too much into it. But his whole facial expression when she held out her hand was like, what the hell is this? And you could tell that he really wanted to hug her. But, he was respectful. He respected her boundaries. And he went ahead and shook her hand. And that was nice. So, okay, and so in his confessional, he talked about how this song is all about him and that, that's another thing. When he was congratulating her, he kept on saying, this is what we did. This is, you would not be here without all the work that we put in. Like he was trying to also give himself credit for Melody accomplishing what she's accomplished. I guess the jury's out on that. Maybe he's right. She wouldn't be here if she hadn't gone through what she went through with Martell, but he wants credit for that. So in his confessional, he says something about how, because the song is about him, he expects to see some profits. He wants 50% of her profits. He's going to talk to his attorney. Now, I know he was joking, but with Martell, honey, you never know about Martell. Especially now that he's broke, you really never know about Martell. So that was the end of that. Everybody took a group picture, and that's the end of the season. Thank God. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Final thoughts. My own final thoughts on this. Number 1, Destiny and Mel definitely have some unfinished business. I hope the next season, if the show comes back or at the reunion, I hope Mel clocks her on that. You what the hell are you doing? Pulling me aside, pulling me away from my event to talk about some nonsense, girl. And then number 2, can we put the whole Kimmy and Maurice and when they met to rest? No more talk about that. Nobody cares. Only you and Kaya care. Nobody else cares. And Mel and Martell, they need divorce counseling. They need divorce counseling, not not family counseling. They need that too. Yeah, they need to do family counseling, but they also need divorce counseling to figure out how they can move forward as a divorced couple where cheating was involved. They need that. They need that desperately. Not just family counseling or individual counseling. They need to be together in one room with a professional and figure out how they're going to maneuver into the future without bickering, without fighting, without bringing up the past, without triggering each other. And just that's what individual counseling, family counseling, and divorce counseling, how to move forward as a divorced couple with a family that they still need to raise. So I think that's all I have to say. The season was okay. It was good. I give it maybe a solid B. Yeah, a solid B or a C plus. Thank you for joining me. If you made it this far, I appreciate you more than you ever know for giving me the time. You could be doing 1,000 other things, but you chose to spend this time with me, and I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will definitely see you again later.